wearing a hat. Give it up for Chaz, former cello.
I thought I'd do some one-liners for you today. And this one's a two-liner. So how about some butthole jokes? The only thing that I'd consider ever getting tattooed on my butthole would be a bigger butthole. And that's because I've always wanted to use the line, although I don't want to give the impression that I have the chance a lot, but I've always wanted to use the line, it's tighter than it looks. So I write some flash fiction, which is really short fiction, sometimes only like 2 sentences long. But I find it really hard, because I always want to have part of it be dramatic and part of it be comedic, and it's just such a small space, you know, but I think I did it, so we'll give this a whirl. Before the night was through, he knew someone's thumb would be in someone else's butthole. Little did he know, the thumb would be fate's, and the butthole his very own. I have 2 main criticisms of most book titles. It needs to be shorter, and should end in pimp. I apply that to most books, including Toni Morrison's Beloved, which eventually just called Pimp. Toni Morrison's Pimp. I know you confuse a lot of Chuck Palahniuk's books, though, because they all have one-word titles, except one would be called Invisible Pimp, and another one would be called Flight Pimp. Which isn't any shorter, but it's way awesome. Brad Pitt's kind of a pimp. Yeah. I don't have a follow-up to that, I just thought it would be a good transition. I want to open a restaurant called There's Nothing Fishy Going On Here, Seafood. Serve people. That's not actually true, but this next thing is 100% true. Hollywood ran out of comic books to make movies out of, and old plays and old novels. So they started to adapt board games. I don't know if anybody's heard of that. They're Monopoly, Battleship, Candyland, Ouija board, all coming out, really. It's true. I looked into the history of this, and it's actually, there's a little bit of history of this trend. Have any of you seen Jumanji? That's
yeah.
Same thing in reverse, yeah. The only other thing I could really find was Clue, which and then Twister. There's a whole bunch of them. No one's going to remember Twister. Which is too bad. I want to make a board game based on Hollywood called Don't Wake Christian Bale. Where Christian Bale stands in the middle of the board and he's filming a really intense scene. And you are a director of photography that has to walk around the board without getting in Christian Bale's line of sight. If you do, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of your career. Mine has 10 kids, that's a lot of kids. It's enough kids so that if one of them does something wrong, she can line them all up and point at all of them accusatorily at the same time. It would be like, okay, that's why we did it. But if she had one more kid, it would be harder. It would be like, okay now, you two. And you may think I was going to point with Mike. She's raised 10 kids. I would think that she'd come to expect some things from children, but she doesn't. Every time she sees one, or even a picture of one, she always says, I just can't believe how big they've gotten. You've gotten so big. You know, I never look at a kid, you know, no matter how long it's been since I've seen them, and think to myself, unbelievable. How is it possible? I'd be really worried if they weren't grown. I can see if I was at a family reunion, and my uncle has a 5-year-old, and I haven't seen him in 4 or 5 years, so I say, oh, say, Uncle Jerry, where is little Theodore? He was just a baby last time I saw him. And then my Uncle Jerry just sort of stares up, and his jaw drops. And then I hear thump. And then I just feel so cold because there's just a shadow. And Uncle Jerry just goes, don't move. His vision's based on motion. That would be when I think to myself, I just can't believe how big they got.